Ladies and gentlemen, always early, if not on time. We are here. Oh my gosh, guys. It is May 7th, 2025. It is approximately 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh, we're a little bit behind. We're a little bit behind packing. We're a little bit behind unpacking all of the events of the last few days. I really wanted to make a video about the indictments that came down in Maricopa County in the Owens v. Eckerd case, or as a result of the Owens v. Eckerd case. This is State versus Owens. And we've got indictments. And I think what really prompted me to want to go live today was the press release, the presser released by Miss Owens and her attorney on her behalf. And I want to read through it and talk about it with all of y'all. So let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. How's everybody doing tonight? Mooses like sandwiches. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I said that. That's me. Okay. Uh, and scones. Oh boy, I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry, guys. And a cookie. I need a cookie. Cat Lady Ballerina is here. What is happening? We are going to go through the press release from Laura Owens in the State versus Owens. I'm so used to saying the Owens v. Eckerd case, but now we have to change it up, guys. We're on to new things. We're on to the State v. Owens. Yeah, I almost said State v. Eckerd. That's not right. State v. Owens case. And we're going to go through this press release. Kelly is scared. But you're fine. Sarah reminds us we are fine. Let's see what's going on. Show me your antlers. Oh my. Maybe after the stream. Okay, let's see. Sheebs is here. Doing great. I hope you are too. Yeah. I mean, we're living the dream. I'm in a sort of portable setup here. I don't have the best audio video quality. If I get enough super chats, maybe I'll go get some pro audio gear for the van. Who knows? In any case, Amy Bonner is here. Hello, friends. We'll just wait a few more seconds for some people to get here. And then we'll get into this presser and we're going to go over it, guys. And it might be a little, I think I've got my laptop set up here so I can read through it and also see your comments because I want to keep the comments on the top of my mind because that's always the interaction is always the best part of these things in terms of going live and all that jazz. Lisa B is here. Very good. Okay. So let's see. Let me get up to this PDF. This is the press release from Laura Owens. Do I have window screens up? Can you see the presser here, guys? It's a PDF. You should be able to see it. There's a picture of Rachel Mitchell at the top, County Attorney Rachel Mitchell. Somebody in chat, let me know that you can see this and then we'll get going. So I know I have things working properly. Or do you mean Windows screens? So I have this portable little screen here. Maybe that's what it's just the glare really washes me out if I don't have that there because this is the sun comes down and everything's going on. Is this live from the Cherry Antler van? No, I'm still in the house. I'm packing up the pods, and once that's done, I'll be setting up the van. I still have to de-winterize. You know, we had some freezing temperatures here in Oregon this winter, so I had winterized the van. So I need to de-winterize it so the water system is all ready to roll. I'll be doing that when I'm done packing. So let's get into it. Okay. So this is the press release. And to start off, there's a photo here. On June 22nd, 2024, County Attorney Rachel Mitchell was photographed smiling alongside a Justice for Clayton member holding a letter that called for my prosecution, part of a coordinated international campaign to pressure her office into filing charges against me. Geez, I mean, just this caption alone. Where do I start? So, first of all, a Justice for Clayton member. What does this mean? Does this mean something? Like, if you go get a membership at a gym or a golf club, you pay them money and then they give you a membership card or a member ID, or there's something official that occurs to prove that you're a member of the organization. If you join AARP or AAA, that's how you become a member of something. There's no way to be a Justice for Clayton member. It doesn't make any sense. There's no scientific test I can do to determine if any arbitrary human being, like the gentleman in the picture here, is or is not a member of Justice for Clayton. So this alone just doesn't make any sense. It's really a non sequitur. Now, she seems to be impugning the idea of people across the world campaigning to write letters to Rachel Mitchell to ask her to look into prosecution. This is how the world works. This is a good thing. When you have an elected official, let's say I'm in my neighborhood here and there's crime going on and nobody is stopping the crime. It is my duty as a citizen to write to my district attorneys. In Arizona, they call them county attorneys. I think here in Oregon, they would call them district attorneys. It would behoove me to write to my elected district attorneys and ask them to look into the crime that is occurring. So I think, given that we've seen the potential for perjury and evidence tampering and all of these other actions, it is absolutely a good thing for people to write in to their elected officials and ask them to look into these things. So the elected official, of course, can then look into them. There's no pressure to force Rachel Mitchell into filing charges against Laura Owens. Okay. It is Rachel Mitchell's job to assign investigators, okay, to go look into whether or not they should file charges. Is there enough evidence? Is there enough value to the community to file charges? And that's what happened. They filed 7 indictments. Okay. And this is the response press release. So, this preamble, there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with any of this. It's fine. Let's get into the body of this text. As someone who has never been charged with a crime in my life, well, this is irrelevant. Okay, this preamble is irrelevant. Whether or not you've been charged with a crime before or not, you've been lodged with 7 indictments today, as of today, minimum. It doesn't matter. Any criminal that we can think of that has been prosecuted, you know, even heinous serial killers, they were all charged with crimes for the first time in their life at some point. Okay. Whether or not you've been charged with a crime uh, previously or not is irrelevant to whether these indictments have merit. Anyway, it says, I am stunned by the 7 felony charges announced against me by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. This is also funny. Why would you be stunned? The end of the the Eckert v. Owens paternity action was the judge referring the case to the county attorney, and the county attorney continuously doing investigation. Why does this stun you? There's nothing here that should be stunning. It should be obvious that there are potential charges that could be filed against Miss Owens. Okay, these allegations appear to be the result of coordinated harassment. Well, there's no evidence of that. Misinformation. What misinformation? And public pressure in the aftermath of a paternity case. Public pressure is fine. Okay. So if public pressure did result in investigators finding good enough evidence to get past a grand jury and charge indictments, then that's good. That's called the legal justice system working properly. If you're going to allege coordinated harassment, you have to provide proof of harassment. If you're going to allege misinformation, you have to cite what the misinformation is with a link, a URL, some sort of evidence, and then counter it with the correct information. What we have here is a claim with nothing backing it up. That's what that is. Okay. This was a paternity case that she filed against Bachelor star Clayton Echard, Owens v. Echard. Okay. Since 2023, I have been the target of a relentless campaign led by a group calling itself Justice for Clayton. Well, the campaign is to see justice for Clayton Echard. Um, the target is justice. The target is not you specifically. And then she uses an EM dash here, which is just annoying. A faction of Mr. Echard's supporters. Okay, let's dig into this. This is false also. So there are some people following this court case who followed the court case because they were, I don't know, fans of the Bachelor TV show. There's also a subset of people following this court case who are fans of the TV show, but who were never fans of Mr. Echard himself on the show. In fact, the show itself continuously made fun of Mr. Echard, having him read mean tweets about himself, bringing out small children from a limousine to sing a song making fun of him in the subsequent season of The Bachelorette. Um, so, and the other thing is, I've met so many people who started following this case and watching this case to see how it would play out because they are fans of, you know, true crime, watching court cases play out, and people that live in Maricopa County who want to know what the heck is going on in their hometown. Okay. There are people who never watched The Bachelor, don't know who Clayton Echard was before, you know, or after he was on the show. They're just saying, here's a court case. Let's dig into the evidence and see what it tells us. Okay. She says supporters who built an entire narrative on a demonstrably false claim that I faked a pregnancy. This is a big red herring, or it's potentially a straw man argument. My assertion here is not that she faked a pregnancy. I could have the opinion or come to a conclusion that she faked a pregnancy. And certainly it seems like the judge in her case came to that conclusion, and the appeals court upheld that decision. I don't really care whether she faked a pregnancy or not. She filed a paternity case in court against Mr. Echard and failed to provide sufficient evidence. Okay. This is different than saying she was pregnant or she was not pregnant. If I have a jar of marbles and they're all, you know, they're not broken or anything, there is either an even or odd number of marbles in the jar. If I say we do not have enough evidence to say whether the number of marbles is even or odd, and Laura Owens says, I think there's an even number in the jar, and someone else says, I think there's an odd number, it is a third reasonable option to say, I don't know how many marbles are in the jar, and you have not provided sufficient evidence to prove that your claim that there is an even or odd number in the jar is accurate. And that's where we are. So this is a big straw man red herring right here about faking the pregnancy. That accusation became their rallying cry. What rallying cry? Note, this is really weird, as if we're all in the movie Braveheart or something. This is strange language. Like, just stick to the facts, okay? fueling thousands of hours of monetized YouTube content. Well, that's what court cases do. Public court cases captivate the public interest, and people analyze and commentate on the court proceedings as they go through the process of a court action. When there are motions, when there are rulings, when there are appeals, this is what happens. People react to events occurring in the court case, and then we have a dialogue about it on YouTube. This is normal. There's nothing wrong with this. In her mental model, she thinks there's something wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this. Reddit threads and social media attacks. Like, what does this mean? Social media attacks. I understand Reddit threads. That's fine. And then we're so many EM dashes, many of which dissected my medical history. Well, if your medical records were part of the public court case material, then yeah, people are going to look at them. Mental health and personal life with obsessive cruelty. And again, this is very qualitative. This is not a quantitative. The end of this sentence is not quantitative. It's not factual. Obsessive cruelty. This is like a judgmental adjective. Okay. There's nothing here you have to show me how something is obsessively cruel. You can't just tell me. This is unconvincing. The abuse, there's no abuse here. The abuse eventually moved offline. The group issued a public death threat against my mother. Okay, this is actually false. What she's talking about here, the group issued a public death threat against my mother. What she's talking about here are Facebook comments made on a public Facebook post of her father's from a Facebook account of some sort of troll. This is the Lisa Chen / Stella Chen Facebook account, and it has two names because the name changed. It's clearly a troll account. The Lisa Chen / Facebook Stella Chen Facebook account was created and used by an individual to post, negative comments against her mother. Okay, that's not a group doing that. One Facebook account is not a group. If we can figure out, if the investigators can figure out who is responsible for the Stella Chen, Lisa Chen Facebook account, I want to know who's responsible. That account messaged me. That account messaged Dave Neal. That account, harassed her father's public posts, and it sent DMs to myself and Dave Neal. I have a whole video going through it. We don't know who Lisa Chen / Stella Chen is, but it's not a group, let alone, this group she claims up here, a Justice for Clayton member. There's no membership. There's no organization. This is completely false. There's no group issuing public death threats. This statement is just wrong. If we can figure out who is responsible for the Lisa Chen, Stella Chen Facebook account, that is who we have a problem with. And if Laura has a problem with the Lisa Chen, Stella Chen Facebook account, so do I. That's a place where we can agree. But this sentence is just wrong the way it's written. There's no group doing this. Okay, she also says, called in multiple false welfare checks to our home. What is a false welfare check? Any welfare check is a welfare check. It either is a welfare check or they don't do a welfare check. There's no true welfare check versus false welfare check. So the word here is false, doesn't make any sense. This is designed to provoke an emotional response in thinking, oh, somebody shouldn't have done something. A welfare check either happens or it doesn't happen. The other thing about this is one of the welfare checks was called in by the FBI that she had contacted originally to look into her case related to her case, her lawsuit against Dave Neal. That's not part of any group, let alone a member of the public. That was the FBI. Then it says, knowing the resulting body cam footage would be released publicly. Well, sometimes they release body cam footage and sometimes they don't. Is she claiming someone is psychic here? Like, I have no way of knowing if some event happens with the police. Are they going to release the body cam footage or not? If there's active investigations, they may not release the footage. So how is she claiming people know that it'll be released? Certainly there was body cam footage released, but before any of this happened, how would people know it would be? This is another claim with no evidence. People would have to be members of the Psychic Friends Network for this statement to be true. And weaponized to humiliate me further. What does this mean? Weaponized. If the police have body cam footage and it's released to the public can review it and analyze it. That's not weaponizing. What does weaponized mean? It doesn't mean anything. To humiliate you further. My big takeaway from one of those body cam videos was that the police failed in doing their job because they didn't put eyes on the person they were supposed to do a welfare check on. So my takeaway was not that she was humiliated. My takeaway was that the police failed to do their job in one instance. That was my takeaway. Let's keep going. In June 2024, after the conclusion of the paternity case, the group, this is the thing, she's not being specific. The group turned its focus to law enforcement. What does that mean? They launched an international letter writing campaign demanding my indictment. Well, yeah, if there are laws on the books, enforcing those laws is what happens. That's the same standard that every other citizen is held to as an adult. If you break the law, you should be held responsible for breaking the law. The law should be enforced. What's wrong with this? Just 4 days after my case was formally referred to County Attorney Rachel Mitchell, Mitchell was photographed smiling alongside a Justice for Clayton member. Again, there's no organization. Yeah, there's links in here. I'm not going to open them up. There are links if you go look at this. I think you can get this version I have is a PDF from her lawyer's blog, but you can also see it on medium.com. Let's see. Four days after my case was formally referred to County Attorney Rachel Mitchell, Mitchell was photographed smiling alongside a member. Yeah, there's no membership. There's no scientific test I can do to determine if any arbitrary human being on this planet is a quote unquote member of JFC. Therefore, this is a complete non sequitur. Holding one of their letters that explicitly called for my prosecution. It's not illegal. It's not unethical. It's perfectly reasonable to do. That image was quickly shared by the quickly. I mean, what's the definition of quick? Quickly? Like when? A day? 2 days? Again, this is qualitative, not quantitative. She needs to tighten up her writing. That image was quickly shared by the same group that had targeted me for nearly 2 years. What does that mean? That image was quickly shared. Shared where? Also, is there a problem with sharing a photo? It's not illegal. Celebrating it is proof the pressure campaign was working. That's how it works. Um, Aikimo says, was that a legit picture? I do believe it is a legit picture. I know who is in the picture. I'm not going to say who it is unless they want to say who it is themselves. Okay. In November 2024, oh, geez, guys, here we go. Because of my autism, first of all, we don't have a clinical diagnosis of autism. We have no evidence of that. So all we have is a self-reported diagnosis from somebody who's now been indicted 7 times. Does anybody believe a self-reported diagnosis from somebody who has 7 pending indictments against them? The time to believe claims is when there is sufficient evidence. I have not seen sufficient evidence of an autism diagnosis for Miss Owens. Um, my good friend Nick says, I hate how people try to use that as an excuse. Exactly. We haven't even gotten to the point where we could even consider using this as an excuse, because my problem is we don't even know if this diagnosis is correct or not, or true or not. Even if she does have a clinical diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder, that does not absolve a person of, criminal behavior. But she's not doing that in this paragraph quite yet. Here we go. I formally requested disability-related accommodations from Miss Mitchell's office. Where's the evidence of that? Can we see that? Where's that letter? Why is that letter not included in this document? You have to show your work, okay? You can't just say the answer is 12. You have to show the variables. You have to show the mathematical equation. You have to substitute the variables. Then you can do the math and determine the mathematical answer. With written language, it's exactly the same thing. If you formally requested accommodations, provide that request here so we can review it. This is just failure to provide sufficient evidence. While they acknowledged receiving my request, they never followed up. What did you request? What exactly are disability related accommodations? I mean, what does that mean? Under federal law, that isn't a formality, EM dash, it's a requirement. Okay, you don't need the EM dashes. Also, we don't know what you requested, so we do not know if it is a requirement or not. The cornerstone of science is independent verification. If we cannot independently verify that your request is a requirement under federal law, what do we do with this paragraph? This paragraph is useless. I can't confirm anything here. They were obligated to engage in a good faith interactive process to determine whether support was needed. Maybe. We don't know because we don't know what you requested. They chose not to. Or it wasn't required, or you asked for something absurd. We just don't know. The answer is I don't know. That same office had also never acknowledged that I hold a valid order of protection against Mr. Eckerd. Oh, here we go. That's irrelevant when you have to go to court. EM dash. What is with the EM dashes? What is this? Oh no, it's gonna, oh boy, it's taking me to the protective order. We don't need to see this. We've seen this before. I clicked an EM dash, guys. Issued in October 2023, right, after a contested hearing in which the court found by a preponderance of the evidence that he committed an act of domestic violence against me. Okay, number one, if he had committed an act of domestic violence, why did all of the paternity case filings say no domestic violence? Number two, the order of protection granted against Mr. Eckerd was granted because Judge Duty saw a Halloween costume meme that Miss Owens claimed Mr. Eckerd created because he was the only one who could have created it. When in fact, the photograph used in the meme was in a Dropbox on Reddit for anybody to have, and a Reddit user made that meme, not Mr. Eckerd. Also, in that contested hearing, Miss Owens claimed that the sonogram image was of her baby. Later, her lawyer said that sonogram image was her sister's. This entire order of protection was granted on a basis of fraud, in my opinion. Because number one, Mr. Eckerd was not the only person who could have made that meme. And number two, the ultrasound in that meme was not even Miss Owens, it was her sister's. Okay. And there was probable cause. You took a form letter from filing a complaint and said that the police say there's probable cause he violated an order. Where are the charges? Why isn't he arrested and in jail right now? This makes no sense. If Mr. Eckerd was not allowed to go to court on June 10th, why wasn't he arrested? Why wasn't Mr. Maricini arrested? Why wasn't Mr. Gillespie arrested? These are irrelevant points. It's proof by refutation. Nobody was arrested. Has Mr. Eckerd been arrested for violating an order in April 2025? No. That's called proof by refutation. In the May 2025 indictment against me, despite sustained pressure from the Justice for Clayton group, the MCAO, I think this is the Maricopa County Attorney Office, did not charge me with faking a pregnancy. Okay. I don't care. Instead, they are allowing the narrative to linger. No, there was a ruling of non-paternity against you. It's done. It's not lingering. The judge ruled non-paternity. Not enough proof of pregnancy, not enough proof of paternity. It's very straightforward. There's nothing lingering there. Encouraging the perception without making the allegation because they know it cannot withstand scrutiny. This is what we're getting into, and the next paragraph will really get into it. What she's doing here logically, it's called shifting the burden of proof. And this happens a lot in debates where somebody will make a claim and they have the burden of proof to prove their claim. Her claim was that she was pregnant, and her claim was that she was pregnant by Clayton, paternity. She made the claim. She has the burden of proof to prove these claims. Again, if she cannot meet the burden of proof to prove her claim, we can say, is she pregnant? Is Clayton the father? The answer is, I don't know, and she has yet to prove it. We don't even have to say she was never pregnant. We don't even have to say Clayton's not the father. You can't even, I don't even know how you ask the question, is Clayton the father, if you can't even get to the point of proving pregnancy in the first place. That's a prerequisite, which her lawyer doesn't understand in his blog, but I don't want to read his blog because it's pretty boring. So what she's going to do here is shift the burden of proof to say, prove I faked everything. That's not how it works. You don't get to shift the burden of proof. Okay, so the next paragraph. They have omitted the most critical fact. I had lab confirmed positive HCG blood and urine tests from licensed medical providers in their possession. Nobody omits that. It's in the court docket. The thing that's important, the thing that's critically important as a fact, is that a positive HCG, blood or urine test, is an indicator of pregnancy. It is not clinical proof of pregnancy. She is conflating an indicator with proof. Here's how this works logically, guys. If someone is pregnant, they will have HCG in their system. If A, then B. She is taking that and saying, I had HCG in my blood and urine, therefore I'm pregnant. B is true, therefore I am asserting A is true. This is a logical fallacy. I believe it's called affirming the consequent. You can't do this. This is like saying, if it rains at the bachelor mansion, the driveway will be wet. Then what she does is she goes to the bachelor mansion and says, the driveway's wet. Therefore, I conclude it's been raining. You can't do this because it's possible the driveway is wet for other reasons. For example, a production assistant could spray the driveway down with a hose. For example, she could have HCG in her system for other reasons besides being pregnant. So she's making a logical fallacy here, conflating a pregnancy indicator with clinical proof of pregnancy. And this is something that she has never addressed. This is something that she has never, that her lawyer has never addressed. They've never answered this question about this logical fallacy. This is the fundamental logical fallacy underpinning this whole issue. She has a worldview built in her mind where a pregnancy indicator is the same as proof of clinical pregnancy. And she's just ignoring any sort of scientific counter argument to that because it would destroy her worldview that she's created where she can never be wrong. She's the victim. She's completely innocent of all these charges. It's underpinning her worldview. I also took a positive first response pregnancy test from Mr. Eckert. So what? Yeah, that's fine. It's an indicator of pregnancy. It's not proof. Yet none of this was included in the indictment. The indictment is criminal charges related to crime. It's not, the indictment is not indicting you for, not providing sufficient evidence of clinical pregnancy. Nor was it acknowledged in the press release. Okay, yeah, because they're talking about criminal charges. We're way past the time to prove clinical pregnancy and paternity. Those days are over. She failed to provide sufficient evidence. That's just where we are. Okay, we're going into italics here, guys. For transparency, members of the press are welcome to contact me directly for temporary access to my patient portal to view the records directly from the medical source. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You can take 9 million positive HCG blood and urine pregnancy tests. I don't care. It's not clinical proof of pregnancy, and it's not proof of paternity. Says the truth is not hidden, it was simply ignored. We're not ignoring it, right? We're right here talking about it. Nobody is ignoring it. This is just wrong. These charges appear to be the product of intense public pressure. Well, and also the fact that they thought they could bring charges for actual crimes, and those indictments passed the scrutiny of a grand jury. Again, this is cherry picking. She's leaving out the details. There was a long investigation and there was a grand jury that approved these charges. And there was public pressure. But she only talks about the one that she thinks, makes her case look good. She ignores everything else. This cherry picking, again, it goes back to she's constructed like this, whatever you want to call it, a mind palace or something, a mode that she's in where she's the victim and she's completely innocent of all these charges and accusations. And if it doesn't help her case, she ignores it. Not impartial judgment. So she's saying the entire county's attorney investigative office plus an arbitrary grand jury is not being impartial. This is absurd. This accusation right here is absurd. They reflect a system that responded to online outrage, ignored procedural protections. What procedural protections? And moved forward based on narrative rather than fact. Well, if you think there's no facts that back up these indictments, you're free to go to court and hear it out in front of a jury. Bring the facts, because you certainly don't have them here in this document. It is difficult not to see them as a part of a broader effort to discredit me. Nobody's trying to discredit you. We asked you for evidence, and you failed to give us the evidence. You failing is not me trying to discredit you. It's me being disappointed with you. Discourage me and make an example out of me. No, it's not about being an example. There are laws, there are standards of evidence, and there's standards of behavior that you need to participate in as a member of society. That's called accountability. It's not being made an example of. I intend to meet these accusations head on. Okay, well, so far you haven't done it in this document. I'm completely unconvinced of any claims that have been made in this document. Another EM dash. And I will defend myself. I mean, you should probably word this. You should probably word this differently, because this makes it sound like you're going to go into this this criminal trial as a pro se litigant. You should probably be careful about how you word this. Fully and relentlessly. Well, it's like you either defend you. I don't know. You're either going to say you're not guilty and put on a defense, or you're not. There's no fully and relentlessly. Again, this is qualitative. It's emotionally charged. It doesn't mean anything. You either defend yourself or you don't. This fully and relentlessly. It's like a Harlequin romance novel, guys. Like, what is this? Rhetoric. Through every step of this process. Okay. Fine. All right. That's it, guys. This is her press release. This is what she wants news reporters, maybe news reporters who have never heard of this story before, to read from her side. This doesn't even, there's no context in here. This is just a litany of victimhood and cherry picking and logical fallacies. That's what this press release is. It's infuriating, you know. All right, guys, let me look at some of the comments here. I love Nick's comment up through the whole thing. What am I doing, guys? Okay. Celeste says, Laura's sick in the head. I don't think she has a mental illness that precludes her from being charged with a crime. Okay. And being prosecuted. I think she has potential personality disorders, like cluster B type personality disorders. That's my opinion. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not licensed to diagnose anyone. It's just my ad hoc opinion. I think she has cluster B personality disorders, and that's what's created this hero slash victim mindset, this mind palace that she's constructed, where all she can see and talk about are the things that support her case or make her story true in her mind. Okay. Let's see. I honestly believe she'll be her own attorney for this case. Maybe. I thought it was wild that Sarah Boone was pro se. I thought it was wild that Lori Vallow Daybell was pro se. I thought it was wild that who was the serial killer in the 70s or the 80s? The he went pro se. Um, Wild stuff. Wild stuff. She's the only one qualified enough to defend herself in her mind. I mean, I don't know. I think if she could find a criminal defense attorney that was like, you know, uh, her attorney now, Gingras, but for criminal attorneys, I mean, she'd be set. She'd be set. I don't know if that human being exists. I don't know if such a human exists. Maybe. Steph says, how many lines of this doc are accurate or make sense? Not very many. It's like a treasure hunt to find the one line of truth or logic. I mean, I believe she had positive HCG blood and urine tests, but that's about it. I believe there was a letter writing campaign to Rachel Mitchell. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, let's see. She's going to go the Lori route, maybe. Um, Cat Lady says it is about being made an example. There's a concept in criminal justice called deterrence, and it's making an example out of someone to stop others from doing the same thing. Yeah, that's true. I think that's maybe more, in my opinion, it's more applicable or more effective when we're talking about things like, breaking into someone's house, selling drugs, these type of crimes that are more um, statistically significant. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's a fake twin epidemic. I think the people that are doing these things, like faking twins, like the lady in Australia, and in this case, that are doing these things, they're few and far between. Number one, and they're doing it because of their personality disorders, like these cluster B type issues. I don't know if deterrence is going to stop them. I think they would need more, um, you know, they would need more intervention from their own families somehow. Now, it's possible that this case could serve precedent for some other family to stop some other person in their life from doing this. We can keep our fingers crossed on that. Um, so I do see what you're saying there. That's for sure. Let's see. They found proof and evidence in the crimes. Yeah, I mean, a grand jury is not going to move forward if it's a baseless sort of thing. They wouldn't be doing that. Let's see. Steph said, for each of my children, I messaged the doctor of my at-home test. And they sent me to the lab for 3 tests to see an increase in levels, and then I could get an ultrasound after those results. Yeah, so they made an Excel spreadsheet, and then you had to go get an ultrasound to clinically prove pregnancy, and probably fetal heartbeat monitoring as well, I would imagine. After you said, therefore, I conclude, you're going to say pregnant. I mean, no, I cannot conclude she was pregnant. I haven't seen sufficient evidence. If I would love, out of anything in this case, I would love to interview Dr. Medchill because I would like to get his take on how he ruled out um, fraud in terms of all this, like as an alternative. Because he said he didn't disagree with Dr. Dean's medical report. Um, but then he said, basically he said there's a bunch of things that could have happened here in this case. My problem is I don't care about the things that could have happened. I think I care about the things that are demonstrably provable that did happen, not just what could have happened. And if you go back and listen to the Gingras Reality Steve Rachel Juarez interview, you'll see that her lawyer Gingras, he falls back on this Dr. Medchill. Well, Dr. Medchill said a bunch of things could be possible. This is all he has. Speculation. That's his only defense at this point, and it's just not good enough for me. It's not good enough. Maybe she peed blue and pink on the stick. Unicorn pee. Oh boy. Yeah, no fetal DNA. We never got to the point of a paternity determination, true or false, for Clayton Echard because there was little to no fetal DNA. Nobody's explained that. I don't know how anybody can explain that. As a mom of two kids, I get a positive test. I see a doctor and confirm via ultrasound that I have a viable pregnancy. Exactly. Exactly. Um, yeah, blood work doesn't prove twins, let alone boy girl twins, right? Um, exactly. Nobody's explained that, where that came from. I think boy girl twins, where'd that go? Yeah. I think her lawyer said she just sort of felt like they were boy girl twins. Like she's a member of the Psychic Friends Network. She should be putting her psychic powers to use by predicting the stock market or something. I mean, then be more effective. Anyway, let's see what else. Such a persecution complex, and she shares it with Jingris. Everyone is plotting and planning against them. Yeah, it's this idea of this hero victim mode mentality, right? One minute she's buying real estate, she's doing a podcast, and she's rescuing dogs and horses and jumping the horses, and she's a hero of the world. And the next minute she's a victim. She's a victim of all these men. She's a victim of the state. She's a victim of the public. She's a victim of everyone. And there's no in between. Um, I think this is very consistent with cluster B issues. I'm not an expert, but that's my take. She refused to admit that she is in the wrong. Yeah. hmm Exactly. I was listening to a podcast, Dr. John from Hidden True Crime, and he was talking about interviewing criminals, convicted criminals, where the DA was basically like, well, if you go through a program, if you get counseling, if you get therapy, you could have a reduced sentence or no or a suspended sentence. And there are criminals who literally would rather go to jail and prison than admit they were wrong or talk about their feelings or their past with a therapist. Because again, they've built this mind palace and they cannot shatter it, even if it means going to prison. And that may be where we are here in this case. We will see. We'll see. Oh my gosh, let's see what else. Her lawyer, Gingras, helped her walk right into that indictment. Yeah, I mean, some of the indictments, I want to do a deeper dive on the indictments, guys. Maybe I'll try to do that later this week or next week because some of these indictments are for dates that predate Gingras's involvement. Some of them obviously are not. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see and look at that and analyze it a little bit. Um, don't they prosecute people for misuse of 911? She should be having that added to her indictment. I mean, they can always add charges to the indictment list at a future point. It just depends on how strong a case they think they have, whether it's worth the time and money to pursue those prosecutions, all that. Let's see. I hope she doesn't put any semicolons in there. Yeah, I don't. If there were semicolons in there, I was in such a blind rage. I just glossed right over them. The EM dashes were so prevalent, though. It doesn't. I just can't stand it. Can't stand it, guys. Valid at the moment, but one of the perjury items is a statement from that OOP hearing. Exactly. The indictments themselves belie her OOP against Clayton. That's a great point. You can't get an accommodation if the disability is made up. That's a good point. Yeah, we don't even know what accommodation she was asking for. She could have been asking for, like, I want to have the hearing on Mars. Like, well, sorry, we don't do hearings on Mars. I mean, we don't know if she was asking for something completely unreasonable or not. Yeah, what accommodation did she need? We don't know. We don't know. Oh my gosh, guys. I think we're kind of back up at the beginning. Hey Rob says, I think he's talking about this photo we're looking at. No one shared it. It popped up on Dave Neal's stream one time. That must be what she meant. So yeah, if it was in a Dave video, either in a public video or Patreon, she could have snagged it from there. If that's where this photo came from, I don't remember. It very well could have come from a public live stream. Um, after people started doing the meet and greets with Rachel Mitchell, which is fine. Bruce has to have a breath before dealing with the self-reported autism. I mean, exactly. It's these things like, oh, I have autism. I mean, if it's not true, like if there's no clinical diagnosis and she's just making this up, it's stolen valor, and it's a way to, it's just offensive because it implies that people with autism are, you know, I don't know, that they're like children or something. They can't go to the airport without getting ripped off. They can't, go to a social situation or something. It's just absurd. It's absurd. There's a spectrum, and she's taking advantage of these things. It's really offensive. All right, let's see what else we got. This is a good one. Thank you for the super chat, Miss Medusa. Laura needs a crash course in economy of words. I agree. I have a video in my management series about economy of words. Go check it out. Also, Laura, honey, you are not coming off looking good. Yeah, this is the yeah, sometimes they say no all any press is good press, even if it's negative press. She's definitely not doing herself any favors, because all of this press is going to be good for the prosecution. It's going to be good for the victims. It's going to be good for everything, because if she does go to trial, everything she's writing and posting online, these press releases, Medium blogs, videos on YouTube, it can all be entered into evidence in a trial if she doesn't plead. So yeah, it's not helping. It's good for the prosecution for sure. Oh boy, let's see. Girl, you gave a stranger 2 blowjobs and claimed you got pregnant. Pretty sure you can do embarrassment all on your own. Exactly. Yeah, we're not here to embarrass anyone or harass anyone. We're here to watch this court case and try to figure out what the heck is going on. Is she actually pregnant? Does she have proof? Is there a paternity claim? Does she have proof? If not, what the heck's going on? Is there fraud occurring? If so, let's see some charges. That's all we're doing here, guys. She likes to use a lot of emotionally charged words to describe things that are not emotionally charged. I agree. hmm She never admits she did anything wrong. You're getting locked up, and please throw away the key. We'll see. We will see. Oh my gosh. Spicy time. Yeah, for sure. This was yeah, I want this one just sort of infuriated me with all the jank in this. And it's not even it's like a page and a half. If that. Time for a JFC class action. Defamation. I mean, how do you do a class action? There's no group. Like it's not like, you know, AAA can sue you or AARP or something. There's no organization. I don't pay a membership fee. It's ridiculous. Let me go to the bottom. Let me catch up. How can I catch up? Lauren Super Chat says, Bruce loves caramelized turds. Oh no. I do like chocolate covered pretzels. Um, in spite of the Kevin Smith movie Mallrats. I spelled caramelized wrong. Okay, Lauren, do you say caramel or caramel? What do you say? Um, I want to know. Do we get to see the antler fury now? Yeah, I mean, it's been on display. I don't know. I want to make another video going into the indictments. Oh, it's pretty wild stuff. It's wild stuff. Let's see. Laura, I hate to tell you this. Dave has a wife and she's much more attractive than you. Stop stalking his videos. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. She stalks any and all Dave content. Oh dear. That could be. Yeah, to get these pictures out of there, I'm sure. Let's see. Yeah, I know she's pulled comments out of the Discord. The Dave Discord. It's a public place, though. Let's see. It's funny she's blaming us for her being held accountable for her own actions of altering evidence. Well, that's how it goes with these things. You get these people that just are, they're convinced, they've convinced themselves of a story in their mind, a narration where they're innocent. And so if something is wrong, it has to be somebody else's fault. And we've seen that time and time again here. Um, yeah, there's an Excel spreadsheet for virtually everything. Good. I approve. I approve. Let's see. What else do we got? What's going on? Oh, people are talking about a medical show on HBO. We got to catch up on Sarah Boone. Oh, has Sarah Boone been doing new things? That's exciting. Mind Palace sounds like Chuck E. Cheese for stoners. I don't disagree. Those animatronics guys, that's nightmare fuel. Um, yeah. Okay, so we were there before. Her being pro se would be a circus, but entertaining. I agree. I don't know about entertaining. I think it would be more fascinating, kind of like, you know, the fall of Rome or something. Like it's not entertainment, it's more fascinating to try to understand. Because I think when we watch these true crime cases or other court cases, it's really about trying to understand human behavior. And in trying to understand human behavior of others, maybe we can understand ourselves a little bit better. And so I think that's what's going on. And that's what we're trying to do here. Um, do you think Gingras will see bar discipline to go along with these indictments? Well, I mean, my understanding of bar complaints is really they don't go very far unless they're filed from like a lawyer's client for some sort of misconduct that the lawyer did during their case. Like, this lawyer charged me too much money, more money, he committed fraud. My lawyer fell asleep during the hearing, But in this case, we have a bar complaint from a judge, and we have bar complaints from witnesses in the hearing and things like that. So I think there's the potential for, I think it's a higher probability of something coming out of these bar complaints. If it was just a member of the community, Dave Neal, if it was just that, I don't think the bar complaints would go very far. But I think because we have a bar complaint from a judge and bar complaints from witnesses in the hearing, I think there could be something that could come out of this. I'm a frequent user of the EM dash. EM dash, my apologies. No apologies necessary. It's just, I mean, especially if you're just IMing or texting or in the YouTube chat, like who cares? Like, or Discord or something, do typos, do what, I don't care. This is a press release. You know, she's writing a blog. You have the time to edit your writing and apply a good economy of words, good technical writing skills, high quality writing skills to things you're publishing. That's more where I have an issue versus the colloquial stuff we're doing here. Um, anyway, all right. What is she's still wilding out. Sarah Boone. Uh, face. I thought that said face sitting at one point. Fast entertaining. Oh my gosh. Lauren, we have work to do. Um, we have work to do. We have work to do. All right, guys. I've been here for a while. An hour. That's pretty good. We made it through this document. I'm going to go. I'm going to have a drink. That's what she said. This is a good way to end the stream. Thanks, guys, for showing up. Thanks, everybody, for the super chats. Because we got 5 super chats, I will get going on a deep dive on the indictments. I have some thoughts. I know everybody's read through them very quickly in some live streams lately, and I want to do a more methodical look at them, look at some dates, look at some timelines, and figure it all out. Thanks, everybody, for coming. If you've stuck around this long, thanks for your time. I'm Bruce Morgan. This is Bruce Morgan Show. Have a good one. Oh, yeah.